All right, this is 2021 question 24. So obviously it is about sine, cosine, and tangent. So let's recall the 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 sine, cosine, tangent. We could try to memorize the relationship by using so, ka, and toi. So let's look at um, all, all these options. We have cosine theta, sine theta, and tangent theta, right? So let's try to figure out what are they first. And since they're all about theta, let's look at theta. Theta means this angle. So this is an angle inside a right angle triangle. So as we remember that for a right angle triangle, we have the hypotenuse, the one which is oppositing to the right angle. And then we have adjacent side, adjacent, which is the one next to the angle theta. And then this one, which is oppositing to the angle theta, we call this the opposite. So we have opposite, we have adjacent, and we have hypotenuse. And then we can tell what are sine, cosine, and tangent. Now first of all, sine, we use so. Sine is the ratio of opposite over hypotenuse. So in this case, sine theta equal to opposite over hypotenuse. In this case, opposite is AC, while hypotenuse is AD. So we could use AC over AD. This is sine theta. And then cosine theta. Cosine theta, according to Carr, it is adjacent over hypotenuse. So in this case, adjacent is CD. Hypotenuse is AD. And then finally, the tangent. Tangent, we use toi. Toi means tangent is opposite over adjacent. Opposite is AC, while adjacent is CD. So these are the values of sine theta, cosine theta, and tangent theta. Now let's go back to the options here. Instead of the theta, we also have to deal with phi. This is also a Greek letter, phi. Well, phi means this angle. So this angle is located in another right angle triangle. Now, since it is a right angle triangle, there must be a hypotenuse. Hypotenuse should be the one oppositing to the right angle, and therefore, this is the hypotenuse, AC. Adjacent, the one next to the angle, A, adjacent. While the last one should be the opposite. Opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. So likewise, let's figure out what is sine phi, cosine phi, and tangent phi. First of all, sine phi. Sine, according to Saul, means opposite over hypotenuse. AB over AC. While cosine phi, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent is BC, hypotenuse is AC. And then tangent phi. Tangent phi should be the opposite over the adjacent. Opposite over adjacent, which is AB, adjacent is BC. Okay? Now, we have to find all these values. And now it's time to put them back inside all these options. The first one, cosine theta, we know that it is CD over AD, while sine phi is AB over AC. And we are supposed to times them together, so we have to find the product. Since sadly there's nothing that we could cancel, so this is the best that we could do. So just leave it here. And then let's continue. What about sine theta? Sine theta is AC over AD. Cosine phi is BC over AC. All right. So since we are trying to times them together, and we should be happy to see that we have AC and AC, one on top, one on bottom, which are the same, so that we could cancel them out, and therefore we could simplify and give BC over AD as the final result. Is it the same? No, not the same, and therefore B should not be the answer. So as A, not the answer. Let's continue. C, tangent theta, AC over CD. Cosine phi is BC over AC. We're happy to see that we could cancel out AC, and therefore we have BC over CD left behind. BC over CD, but sadly not the one that we are expecting. So this is also not correct. We all know that the correct one should be D, and now let's try to show it that it is the answer. So tangent theta is AC over CD, AC over CD, while sine phi is AB over AC. So likewise, AC and AC could be cancelled out, so that we have AB on top, CD on the bottom, which is the same as this one. Therefore, D is the answer. Okay, don't forget the shortcut part.